name's Daniel Smoliga. I work for HUBER+SUHNER Astrolab, subsidiary, a holding of HUBER+SUHNER. We're getting into RF and microwave cables and components. Just as HUBER+SUHNER, long history of providing cables, connectors to the RF industry, satellites specifically. And
I'm Mike Bidding. I work for HUBER+SUHNER Pilatus. We're a recent acquisition for HUBER+SUHNER back in June of last year. Pilatus is a manufacturer of optical switches, which complements the connectivity solutions that HUBER+SUHNER has been bringing to the table for many years by adding a different aspect in the optical domain. So.
Okay, great. If you could just go through some of the questions I asked to give us a little bit of an idea.
No, good.
So I'll talk a little bit about All right.
Go ahead.
So, as a part of the acquisitions that HUBER+SUHNER's made over the last several years, including Astrolab and Cube Optics and Pilatus, the complementary nature of these technologies to the existing RF cables and cable assemblies and connectors makes for a full solution that HUBER+SUHNER is now able to bring to the table. Instead of just offering connectors and cables, we can offer connectors, cables, RF over fiber, fiber connectivity solutions, as well as all optical switching. And we're seeing these being used in satellite ground stations, comms, shelters, as well as a number of other arenas where all connectivity, end-to-end connectivity requirements can be met.
as far as the RF side of the business, we've HUBER+SUHNER and Astrolab both been involved in end-to-end solutions for radio frequency and microwave, from the antenna down to the generators, single generator, all different sizes, weights. Everything is kind of converging onto smaller sizes, lower weights, with higher flexibility, not just in terms of the cables themselves, but also the applications. Getting into higher frequency, many more space applications, where weight and signal is key and crucial. We are both very integrated into a lot of defense applications, fighter jets, as well as other reconnaissance applications. And now we're seeing a lot of interest in what we can provide for interconnection solutions in satellite constellations that are providing broadband and Wi-Fi globally from satellite constellations.
Good. Just keep going. That's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, on a different mic, just shoot.
What I do know that is it is going down to minus 40, and it is IP68 rated, IP6 for dust.
All right. I'll talk to you a little bit about our HUBER+SUHNER QODC 12 connector. It's a 12-channel multi-motor single-mode connector that is rated to IP68. It's dust and water resistant, even submersed. So it's a 12-channal. So it's a sealed connector. You seal the connector, and then you're assured that it's going to keep out any particles and water from getting in. It's rated over a temperature range from minus 40 to plus 85. So you can deploy it in basically any environment for a ruggedized, mission-critical type of connectivity, fiber optic connectivity. connectivity.
Let's put it this way.
Right,
6 months old, I've seen it 2 months.
As part of the Huber and Sooner line of RF over fiber, we also have LAN over fiber, and we have GPS over fiber. And it's very interesting products in the GPS over fiber arena, because we actually have antennas with the receiver integrated with the antenna that's remoted over a fiber optic cable. So the power comes in over one fiber optic cable, and then the signal comes back over another fiber optic cable. So there's no connectivity, no electrical connectivity to the antenna, and so it makes for nice penetrations and skiffs and whatnot. So some very interesting solutions for the GPS over fiber.
Some things that we are seeing a lot of in the space category are channelizers. This comes from the need to have expandable systems within a satellite. Mainly where processing is concerned. Being able to process a signal and expand that over different types of satellites. So being able to add different channels of signal processing in different applications. 14 channels in this application, another 14 for this one, and adding on. So we're seeing a lot of applications where someone would need different slices of processing power and getting into custom solutions. So we're trying to use existing platforms in innovative ways to connect a PCB to a bulkhead.
Is it usually just for large satellites, or what about cube satellites?
That's another arena where we're seeing a lot more traction and a lot more interest in getting a lot more business is in the satellite constellations. Not necessarily all CubeSats, some CubeSats, but companies are moving away from always having large satellites and moving into multiple satellites that are frankly disposable.
Right.
They have a smaller lifespan than a large satellite that needs to be constantly functional for 20, 30 years. They're only requiring 5 to 7 years out of some of these satellites and then burn them up on re-entry. So having expandability and adaptability is key for those sorts of systems. We're also seeing a lot of interest in phase-stable cables through a wide range of temperatures. When you're in a space environment, you're seeing a lot of those temperature changes from sunlight to darkness. So having a signal that has a constant phase stability over a wide range of temperatures is becoming key.
Let me just ask this question. What about military applications, defense? Would you say a little bit about that?
Sure.
That's a big thing.
What we are seeing a lot of interest in our military customers are lighter weights, but with high power. So high-powered signal generation with as little weight as possible, and we're developing actually powered sub-miniature connectors. We will be launching these in the next few months. Been in development for quite some time now, being able to generate at least 100 watts up to 18 gigahertz from something the size of an SMA 2.4, 2.9. We are seeing the need for this adaptability and expandability in our military customers as well, being able to expand their solutions instead of having to completely overhaul a reconnaissance aircraft, being able to just expand on it.
What about what about fixed platforms like command and control systems that you see in the field? With the Army, SEALs, Marines. Is there some connectivity applications that you address?
Absolutely. We do have, both companies have heritage in the multi-port coaxials, the harnesses with 38999 connectors. We tend to, Astrolab does not have a lot of traction with that right now. More cable harnessing companies will we'll get that sort of business. We get the connectors and cables. So they're implemented in anything from the different contacts, like size 12, size 8, size 16 contacts onto our cables.
Okay, great. Maybe I can bring you back into the conversation. So can you add some more information about the applications? Of course, I'm kind of focused on military communications. This would be networking, space-related aerospace.
Yeah, we've done a good bit of work with switches for mobile comms, shelters, as well as satellite satellite earth stations. The switches that Pilatus makes are used as the demarcation point, so you connect up to the shelter, and then the switch can be used to dynamically reconfigure that network. So if you have a cluster of shelters that are connected together, you can dynamically redefine the connectivity between those shelters, so you get the signals going to where you want them to go, whether they be video signals, or data signals, or telemetry signals, or whatever. And using an optical backbone to do those distributions, and using ruggedized fiber optic connectors that can survive any military environment, then you end up with a very robust system that gives you this dynamic reconfigurability capability. It's essential in that kind of environment.
Would that apply to atomic as well? I mean, as far as you're talking about ruggedized atomic radiation, something like that. When you say it was hardened, I'm just curious.
That's the beauty of an optical distribution architecture, is that it can be very highly immune to atomic effects or EMP or tempest type concerns, right? Because they don't emanate, they're not altered by those things, and so you can end up with a very robust communications network using a fiber optic backbone. And as always, it's never a question of, well, should we do fiber or should we do RF? It's where do you do each? And each has their benefits and strengths and weaknesses, and they just need to get deployed in the right areas.
Well, I just want to comment. We're going to wrap up, but I just want to comment on one thing. Is the United States Air Force, I don't know if you're aware of this, but they have your white papers about these two elements, which is the RF side and also the fiber side. So are you aware of that? Probably not.
That they have white papers on?
Yeah, the Air Force, about your company. That's why I'm here, by the way. So there you go.
Not personally. Wouldn't be surprised if some of the other guys do, but they didn't get the short straw.
Okay, so that's great. Well, let me just have you wrap up. If you have any other points, you can reintroduce yourself again and your names, and we'll kind of go from there.
Sure.
Yeah, so I'm Mike Benning from HUBER+SUHNER Pilatus. And I'd like to mention that we're a recent acquisition to the HUBER+SUHNER family. And some of the acquisitions that HUBER+SUHNER's made over the last couple of years, including Astrolab and Cube Optics and Pilatus, have really enabled HUBER+SUHNER to offer a much broader end-to-end solution than they have been able to offer in the past, with RF connectors and cable assemblies of many different kinds, and great business in that area, to RF over fiber optical transceivers, to WDM, wavelength division multiplexing components, to optical switching, to optical cables, and so you got this end-to-end solution that HUBER+SUHNER is now able to bring to the table, whereas before it would have been siloed. So we bring great value to our customers now by being able to bring this end-to-end solution, pick and choose the pieces that are right for your application.
I think it's a very good point. You got one more minute. Do you want to say Daniel.
Again, my name is Daniel Smallwigo from Huber+Suhner Astrolab, another acquisition of Huber+Suhner, bringing along heritage of military and space heritage to RF and microwave cables and connectors.
Okay, excellent. Thank you very much. This is on behalf of GMCStreamTV. Thank you.
Thank you.